Why, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Josi to One podcast, all about mindset and leadership. I'm your host, Josi, and today I'm joined by the lovely Petia, who is an intuitive life and business coach, mentor, and a mom, guiding fellow fempreneurs to 6 or 7 figures the healthy way. So it's without question, okay, that we will be diving into the topic of money mindset, because it is very, very common to struggle with that if you are a woman in business and you might have limiting beliefs around money that hold you back from your full earning potential. And one way to shift them is through replacing them with a better mantra or affirmation. So, Petia, first of all, I'm so happy to have you here. And I would love to kick it off because I've seen on your profile how the mantra, like a post, how the mantra, the more me I am, the more money I make, got you to where you are today. And I want to hear more about that.
Gosh, first of all, I'm so excited to be here. I absolutely love who you're being, what you stand for. And I feel like it is so important that we have spaces like this podcast where we can see what is possible. And not only, some shows, they just inspire you and you're feeling better. It's like this, quick dopamine hit. And then you're like, well, but what about me? How do I do that? So I really love that you're really providing actionable tips and tools, and the interviews are really in depth, no scratching surface. So I love that. So thank you so much. That's why I know I will feel like a home here. And you already been a fantastic guest on my show, Unapologetically Abundant. So, we can definitely link them together. But I am so happy you're bringing it up. One, it really seems like you prepared, which is amazing. Thank you, of course. How couldn't you, right? Knowing you. But truly, it is so interesting how as women we can get in our heads and we are comparing ourselves with others and we feel like we are not enough, we are not doing enough, and there's always like more certifications to get and more things to learn and more things to do, and we start modeling others. And I feel like there is nothing wrong with when we're seeing some other people who are successful. And to be real, like that got me where I am today. When I look at other women, I was like, "Ooh, she's doing retreats. That sounds really fun. Ooh, she's doing podcast. What if I do mine? Ooh, she is doing live events. What if I will host my live event?" So one thing is to get inspired, but the other thing it's copying others because you think that as you are, it's not enough. And listen, like imposter syndrome, like healing from that. And I feel like I don't like to say, Josie, like the new level, new devil. I don't believe in that, And it's very common saying, right? But we can look at it in like real honesty and see like, yeah, when I step into the next level, I can doubt myself. So realizing along my journey that the more of me I became, the more richness I have experienced. And not only money, it's not, and I'm so grateful. I did build multiple 6-figure online coaching business and travel the world. And when my daughter was born, I was with her 4 months and I was on recurring revenue. And, for some people can it be not enough? For some people, it can be like, wow, like I was out for 4 weeks. I have a woman who went like back to work like 2 days later. I'm like, I could not function, it's like physically wasn't like it would be impossible. So I do appreciate that richness. And also it's my health, it's my relationships, it's how I live, it's where I live. So we get to really come back into understanding that you are perfectly made for your purpose. That's another mantra that I have created when I was going, through rough times. You are perfectly made for your purpose. When you really hear that, when you really let it seep, you will understand that who you are is enough. Can you grow? Can you learn? Of course. That's why we came here. I always look at nature, Josie, and I'm like, what's not growing is dying, right? Or think about like a river. Imagine a beautiful, pristine blue river, like flowing everywhere. You have fish there and you have greenery. Now, if that river becomes stagnant and stuck, it's dead. It starts to stink. And our life stinks when we're stagnant. Let's be real. So when we can look at it from this perspective, we are slowly coming back to ourselves. And I feel like this is one of the things that my clients love the most about me. It's not just the strategy and helping them, shift their perspective and create momentum. It's that they know that it's for them. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not like, hey, do this and you will get that. It's not
Mm.
that simple. I always bring them back to themselves. That's the biggest richness that you can really have, the freedom to be yourself, to be authentic, to be unapologetic, hence Unapologetically Abundant podcast, right? My show where Josi was. So when you can come back to you and work on that, when you can strengthen that relationships, you with you, everything else will be easier. Everything else will fall into the place. Everything else will be more accessible. You don't have to overthink. And as a leadership and mindset coach, you know that it's all in our mind. It really starts
Yes.
there. How we are thinking will determine how we are feeling. How we are feeling determine the actions we are taking, and then the results we are getting. So if you look at your life and you look at your results and you're like, wow, that doesn't feel good. Like, I don't want to be here. Very often I ask my clients, if nothing ever changes in your life, are you okay with that? Most of them are not. And it's not because like I'm in a place, thank God, I'm so fulfilled that everything else I want in my life, it's extra. It's a cherry on the
Hmm.
top. Yes, I want a bigger car. Yes, I want a bigger house. Yes, I want a salt pool. Yes, I want more babies. But where I am, it's so satisfying. Can you really say that? Most people can't. And it's because they disconnected from their truth. They disconnected from who they really are. So it's coming back to you and understanding who you are, who you came here to be, which, I mentioned before when we met, I love using human design. I'm obsessed with
Mm.
it. So using human design to understand who you are, coming back to yourself, see yourself as a gift. Literally, my past client, she was actually my first life coaching client, and it feels like a different lifetime, but we stay in touch. She lives in the same city. We stayed in touch. We were part of a same mastermind where, I met her and I met my husband. And I was just talking with her a couple of days ago. We reconnected and I'm like, hey, like you wanted to do the human design session, like you never done it. Let me look at the chart really quick because I know she's saving for a new house. And it's like, it's not important that you invest in it right now because she was doing me a favor a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, let me do that. I literally, Josie, sent her like, I think it was like 3-minute message and she was like blown away. She was like, wow, like this makes so much sense. Now my life makes so much sense. Wow. And she was like, can we do the full session? And it's not like
Nice.
I was trying to pitch her. It's not that, but I know the power. And when you know yourself, everything becomes easier. And I did that, for her because again, I know her for 7 years. And, she's very generous person, but also she is manifesting a new home. And
Mm.
I wanted to
Exciting.
tell her what is the path of least resistance for her. Because very often people will tell you, like, oh, you got to do it this way and this way and this way. Well, is that really your way? Or again, are you doing it like everybody else? The more me I am, the more money I make. And it's true for my clients too. My other client, this is like my favorite testimony. I love working with her. She is a mama. She just gave a birth 4 months ago. And again, like who is mother will get it. Like your life, it's upside down.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure it out. Like how you did business before, it's not going to work now. And she got a super inspired idea. She wanted to do flash sale on some of her old products. And then she got in her head, right? We get into our mind. We start overthink. What will people think? What if I lose my prestige?
Mm.
What will my past client think who did like the full price? Like, what if they're upset on me? So she really got in her head and she started overthinking. And so we got back into like asking ourselves, well, what is the root? Why you're thinking about it? Why you're thinking about others? What is your truth? How do you ideally want this to go? So we were able to recalibrate it. And she was like, okay, you're right. She went back to her truth, what feels right to her. She sent the email with a flash sale and she made $19,000, $18,670. If she would stay in her head, one, she wouldn't make that money, which we always like to receive, right? But two, she would be in that vicious cycle of not trusting herself and not trusting her abilities and not trusting her intuition and what is moving her. And she did that. And then we were working through it a little bit more. And she was like, I want to write a follow-up email, not to like push people to sell more, but share more about my why and my story. She did 4 more sales. She made over $22,000 on this. If she would stay in her head and doubt herself, she wouldn't. So again, it wasn't because she had a perfect pitch and perfect strategy. It was not because she had a perfect funnel. She has a small email list. She was true to herself. She shared her story. She shared her why. She shared why she wants to do the sale. She shared updates about her life. People felt more connected. And they're like, wow, like, I love this. Like, I want to be part of this. And they bought. It's about you, no one else. We overcomplicate it, Josie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Petia, this was like literally a TED talk in itself. Thank you so much. And I really love the quote that you said, you are perfectly made for your purpose. And the way you are now already is also the perfect way. Like if you're true to yourself and if you're authentic to yourself, that's the perfect way to sell your services, because people want to buy from you because of how you are, who you are, how you show yourself, how you present yourself. So I love how you're tying it all back to self-trust, and also that the first step to that is self-discovery. It is self-awareness. It is really about coming home to yourself, getting to know yourself again, knowing what you stand for and what feels good for you to do, and then take it from there to the next level and then put in the action. And in one of your posts, you also mentioned that one of your, well, like your 3 activities a day, right? You say that you do it's the money-making activities. So I'm a strong believer of, we have to combine the mindset work with the action taking. Otherwise, we do not see results. As your client did the same. Like she did the inner work, she did the mindset work, she came home to herself, and then she took the action. She sent the email. She then also followed up with her own solutions, like I want to share about my why and everything. So that is the action that we have to combine it with. And you're mentioning what I really, really love. What was it? Like you do the energetic work before rising. And then you set your goals before you go to bed. So you really get basically in a dreamy state before you get dreaming, literally. And you sell after breakfast. So I would love for you to dive into that a little bit, as well as maybe share how someone can take this and apply it to their own life in their own way.
Girl, you're fantastic. I love how prepared you really are. You're really amazing. That's why your show it's so great, because like you
Thank
really
you.
connect with our guests, and not many people do. I'm raising my hand. I don't prepare that deeply. I'm very intuitive, but of course I stack my guests, and that's why I like invite them. But you're really amazing, and I love how you tied in the question. So this is beautiful, and this is something that I had to like start taking my own medicine, because again, like becoming mother, a lot of things changed for me. Before, Josie, I had like 2 hours morning routine. Like my rising routine was like waking up and journal and breath work and taking shower and having breakfast in bed. And like, it was so beautiful and so spacious. Now that I wake up and I literally have like baby sucking on my boob, like there's not much spaciousness you get, it's like 24/7 baby, it's on you. If you choose to. I know not all the mamas do, and that's fine too, but I do. So I had to adjust it a little bit, because I found myself going into old patterns of like being frantic and being in scarcity, like trying to always like check my emails, check my messages all the time, looking at my phone, because before I had this flow of like, I know when I'm online, I know when I'm offline, I know when I'm doing what. With a baby, like there is no way you can plan anything. Like, I plan something and then she's teething. I plan something and then she's like stuck on me and wouldn't sleep, It's just, so I started to fill in the work in the spaces that I could, which as mamas, we have to. However, I was neglecting me. I wasn't doing the energetic work. I wasn't focusing on the money-making activities. I was literally all over the place. And that's how my business felt, that it was like frantic, and people were coming but it wasn't like regular. And so I'm like, I cannot live like this. So I'm like, let's go back to the basics. Let's do the things that we know that work. However, let's do that in a way that works for me now, because each person, it's a different season. Maybe you do have the 2 hours, please enjoy it. Maybe you choose not to ever have a kids, please enjoy it. I have clients who just have 2 dogs and choose not to ever have a kids. It's fine. But if you do only have, let's say, half an hour, what can you do in that half an hour? First, you get to really pour into yourself. First, you have to see yourself as the most important thing. I always say, like, rise like the queen you are, right? Like, I do have a male client, but 99.9%. I'm a coach for female entrepreneurs. He just did my breathwork session and he was like, Coach, can I hire you? And it's just like, I couldn't say no,
Yeah. That's so amazing.
I just didn't want to say just like, oh, rogue gender. He's a great man, So I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But normally I work with females. So, like looking at that, rise like the queen that you are. The way you treat yourself, you're sending the universe, God, source, whatever you want to, believe. You're sending the signs like, how do you want to be treated? So if you're waking up and grabbing your phone and you're feeling stressed and you're all over the place, well, how you're treating yourself, it's not the queen, it's the slave. And you will be paid like the slave. This is good,
This is good.
I'm like, I never said it before, but the way you treat yourself, it's how you're going to be paid. If you treat yourself up and rising like the queen, you will be paid like the queen. If you treat yourself like the slave, you will be paid like the slave. So I started to do that. The rising routine for me, like I asked my husband, hey, can you watch, our daughter for 15, 20 minutes? And he just grabs her and say, Mommy will do her routine, and it's fine. So whether you have someone to watch the baby or not, like create few minutes for yourself. And so I go prepared and I do my meditation, I do my pumping because I gotta multitask as mama. Then I take a shower, get ready, choose a clothes that makes me feel good. And even though we were talking about it before, even though my hair, it's not perfect, I have a perfect hats for every hair in the morning I will have. So that's the rising routine. Prepare yourself energetically, whether it's breathing, whether it's, stretching your body, whether it's journaling, whether it's visualizing, like prepare yourself to step into that version of you that already had a successful day. Set the goals. And it's funny, like I wish I could show you, but I don't want to be moving my computer. I just like took away from my husband his whiteboard because he had it there. And it was all written over. I was like, is it really important to you? Because it's big and I want it. So I took it and I just wrote down on the board, promoting, promoting, creating, and money making. So I put it there and it's for next 3 months. So 3 activities for 3 next months. And I write it down because I am very visual. I need to see the things in front of me. So I write down, what am I promoting? What am I creating? And what are the money making activities? Because very often I feel like especially as women, and let me know, Josie, if it resonates with you, we like to keep ourselves busy so we feel valuable and worthy. So other people can tell us like, hey, you're amazing. You did this, right? And even when we are talking with our loved ones, you're like, oh, how was your day? Oh, I did this, right? Like we list all the things because we want to feel valuable. But sometimes what happens when we're honest, we're doing things just to do them because it's like, well, do I really need to fold the laundry? Do I really need to finish the dishes right now? Or can I send that email? Can I create the story? Can I, put that podcast on? Can I finish my freebie? What are money making activities? Because when you can focus first on the money making activities, then you're going to feel more accomplished anyway. And the money making activities in the end can pay for some other people to do those activities as you don't want to be doing anyway. I don't want to do those things. Like when we were in Mexico, like I had a cleaning lady and I had a private chef and massage therapist like twice a week, So here in the United States, the prices are like 5 times more. So we do that, but we just don't do that every day or every week, So when you can focus on what really matters, what will move the needle, then you can. So when you get clarity, now you see it in front of you, whether you put it on a vision board, whether you put it in your journal, what are the money-making activities? What is going to really move the needle forward? And then after breakfast, after you nourish yourself, after you feel centered, after you feel grounded, after you feel in the best way possible, full of yourself, you get to be full of yourself. If you're not, how do you want to attract anything in your life if you're attracting because you're feeling empty? Right? So then you focus on the cells. And one thing that I love teaching my clients too, when you get into that stage of like, okay, now I'm ready to focus on my business, I always tell them every single day to focus on three things: nurture, sell, and grow. Those are the things that I always tell them to focus on, because again, we can get so easily distracted by so many things we could be doing. But why? Like, are you doing it for validation? I mean, if you really
Yeah.
need to be dishes, please go for it if it makes you feel better. But very often I find like I'm not going to die if the dishes. I always like wash them the same day. My husband is like, oh, it can wait till. I'm like, nope, it cannot. I want to wake up to a clean house. That's it's different. But focus on what matters. Focus on what will
Hmm.
make the difference. Focus what is long-term vision versus the like urgency. Like focus on what is important versus what is urgent. Very often we are tending to urgent things, and unless it's a fire or baby choking, it can wait.
I can only agree with that. Like, it's really about getting out of that firefighting mode and to focus on what truly matters right now. And I also love how simple you keep it. And you said it yourself, like, come back to the basics. That in itself is one of the best tips ever. Like, just come back to your basics. What matters to you in your life really right now? Focus on those things. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. What does really matter right now? Do that. Focus on that. I love this so much. And I want to wrap up with a fire round of questions if you're up for it. Before we dive in, please let me know a number between 1 and 10.
7.
7. Okay, you get 7 questions that you can answer with one word or short sentence. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is the Petia way of living and leading your best life?
Being authentically me.
Love that. When shit hits the fan, what do you tell yourself to get through it?
Breathe.
What is your key habit for success?
First thing that came is shower. I know it sounds funny, but shower. I get my best ideas in shower.
Oh, yes, that's why, because you get like almost like I almost find it's like an energy cleanse, like a body cleanse. You just feel refreshed and your mind is just disrupted. Your overthinking is disrupted for a second and you can just like get some more clear thoughts in.
Mm-hmm.
Love. What is your favorite book that you would recommend to everyone?
Alchemist.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. What is a word or expression that you say all the time?
It's funny, but right now it's like yum yum. I have a little daughter, so
Yeah.
saying yum yum yum. It's so silly. Yeah.
I love that. What is the theme song of your life?
I don't know the name, but you know the one from Dirty Dancing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is.
I have it like right now in my
Time
mind
of your
playing.
life. Yep.
Yeah, I will not sing it, but I have it playing.
Yep.
Okay, what is your main takeaway from this podcast recording?
I really love the thing of like how you start your day, how you treat yourself at the beginning is how you're going to be paid. I think this is huge.
Mm.
And even though I could see it, I have never like worded like that before. And I'm like, this is so true. How you treat yourself is how you're going to be paid.
That is super, super, super powerful. I hope to see a thread of you so I can like it.
Oh, it's happening.
Post it. Amazing. Thank you so much. This was really, really fun to do. I love the energy. I loved how you showed up for yourself. I love how you just presented and just poured out value in this episode. This was fabulous. You are fabulous. Thank you so much. And before we wrap up completely, where can people find you? Obviously, I will put all the links into the description box, but how would you love for everybody to reach out to you?
I feel like my favorite, it's fun, but we connected on Threads, so just my name, Petia Kolibova. I feel like it's really fun to connect there. And then I started a new Instagram account because my other one got, hacked and suspended, and I'm back on it. But Petia Kolibova Burns on Instagram, or my podcast, that's always there, Unapologetically Abundant. Those are the best ways. And then I just created absolutely fantastic free gift on 5 daily things to 5 figures. So I will make sure to send it to you also, Josi, so you can include it, because I feel like I go so much more in depth on how to really prepare for your day and what are the things to really focus on that will move the needle and create the richness that you so deserve.
I love that. Yes, please do send that over so I can link it in the description box below to really basically learn how to pour into yourself and set yourself up for success at this start of the day. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much again. To everybody listening or watching, I shall see you again with a new episode next week, Monday. But until then, I wish you a fabulous time. Bye.
It's like the easiest fix when your hair is going crazy and people think it looks cool. I'm like, you don't know what's going on under the hat.
Maybe that's a sign for me to invest in a hat myself.
Oh, girl, it's so worth it. I don't know if you can see, but I have like
you have a
colors.
collection.